Okay, it should be
Yeah,
live.
this looks cool used upside down. Hey everybody out there.
Hey.
And the ad's playing. Hey everybody out there.
Oh, I can hear you.
And I see Jade out there.
Yeah, can you hear everybody, Jade? Say something, Zillaan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if we were live or not.
Yeah, we go live early just a couple seconds so we can get sound checks and video checks and everything done. The gremlins really like us.
Oh, I'll bet.
Can you hear us, Jade?
So there's people out there in Twitch, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. She can't hear us though. I'm gonna...
She says she's refreshing. I heard you over Twitch
Yeah, I can hear over
Before
Twitch too.
before I muted it.
And she can hear now too.
Okay,
Thanks,
good.
Jade.
Awesome.
So it's like 1 or 2 minutes
Yeah, 1 minute.
to go.
And there's a little bit of news today. May have already heard.
Okay,
I
I better go
haven't heard
freshen up
anything.
then. Anybody got a breath mint?
Alright, my clock says it's 2 o'clock, which means it's 11 a.m. server. And welcome to the DTC Roadshow. And today we're on Deepwood with Zillaan. Say hi, Zillaan.
Hello, everyone.
Alright, I'm Fiendish, and Diva, of course, is with me as always. And
Hey everybody!
before we get started looking at Zillaan's great dimension, including this fabulous new one, the news. In case you haven't heard, 3.3 comes out Wednesday. With that, of course,
Hooray!
oh yeah, Nightmare Sagas, planar crafting, and tons upon tons upon tons of new dimension items.
Goody, 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 goody!
Yeah, Riftgrate has a pretty good consolidated guide. I'm going to be working on a consolidated post about how and where you can get everything. New loyalty tier coming out, which of course has a new dimension and new items with it. Just so much stuff, including Orpheal Fairwind as a dimension item from the Nightmare Sagas. Pretty sure everybody knows that Orpheal Fairwind is supposed to be the head of the Defiance. So I know I'm definitely going to be going out to get that one. Plus the T1 weapon. And that's the big news. So outside of that, Diva, you want to talk about contests?
Sure, I think everybody really probably knows what contests are going on right now. 2-dimension contests. We've got the one that Calorie is sponsoring, and it is the collaboration contest with the theme of post-apocalyptic ideas, and you can read all about it on the forums. And then the Dungeon Master contest, which is being sponsored by Nouveau of Dimension Gallery, and she has a post about that out on the forum, so you can read about it all out there. And you know, I just think it's so awesome that these two players have decided to do these 2 contests, so I just hope everybody will support them by entering, or at least by going and touring the entries when they're done. I talked to Calray, and she is interested in coming on the DTC and doing something related to showing her entries or her winners, so you can watch our schedule for an upcoming roadshow with Calray's contest entries. So that's about it for contests this week.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. And this is Zillaan's brand new dimension, and I'm pretty sure I just borked your name, and I'm sorry for that.
It's
This
okay.
this is called Valley of Eden. Now, you were telling me right before we started the stream today that this was originally going to be your post-apocalyptic dimension.
It was one thought we had, and then we went in a different direction. Um, but I decided this dimension just screamed waterfalls because of all the changes in elevation. And as I was telling you, since I'm a landscaper in real life, I tend to uh, do more of the outdoor stuff because the rules apply in here just like they do in the real world.
Yes, they do. And as far as the landscaping goes, it is very, very lovely. Quite a change from the norm in Scarlet Gorge, which is very barren and dry.
Yes, Fern
I
Filler
love
was my
seeing
friend.
that. Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. I just said Fern Filler was my friend in this one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it usually seems to work out. I didn't appreciate the
And
fern fillers until recently myself.
yeah, sedge clumps became my friend recently for a similar reason. But Zillaan, thank you for keeping this one closed and also working on it so hard to finish it, to unveil it on the show today. That is so gracious of you. Thank you.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I really think Tryon has done an outstanding job on the plants. They are a lot of fun to work with.
They are. I wish there
Oh,
was more of
yes.
them.
Yeah, when you do one like this, it did start becoming a how can I possibly come up with a different pattern with the same number of plants? But I think it turned out all right.
Oh, it turned out great.
It did. It's beautiful in here.
And it's lush seeming, which is not a word you use to describe normally Scarlet Gorge.
No. Well, I think just doing this kind of a dimension in the right order is the trick. I mean, I started right off the bat with the bare bones water features and the waterfalls, and then of course you had to spend all the time hiding the edges of the waterfalls or the water ponds, which is one thing I'm hoping they'll come out with sometime. It would be nice to have just a water surface without an edge, and then you could have a little more freedom. And then I just went from big trees down to small stuff, and then put the buildings in, and it's just a process.
I love this big tiered waterfall right here.
Yeah, this is really spectacular.
And I like Scarlet Gorge as a dimension anyways, just because the sky is gorgeous, and it's one of the few that has any signs of life in it with the birds flying around. And you got, of course, there's the windmills. This is just a great base
Yeah, I love
dimension.
the movement. Yeah, it really
Did,
is.
did you recognize that vase?
Yeah, it's a cannon.
Yep. Just wanted
Very
something
creative.
different.
Yeah.
And since dimension addicts tend to be wardrobe addicts as well, let me just say your new outfit does look pretty damn spiffy.
Why, thank you.
And I would have to agree.
Yeah, you guys almost match.
No, she's a little tall for my taste.
Whoa. Hold on a second. Okay.
Yeah, basically on this one, I basically wanted to have two main paths of the water going down meeting at the bottom, and that's kind of how it ended up. And I wanted to have like key little scenic views, for lack of a better word. And as it turned out, they worked out both looking up and looking down.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about this is I'm getting to look down at where we're headed, but I can look back up to where we came from, and I mean all the views and everything are great, whichever way you're looking, every perspective. It's really amazing.
Yes, it is.
Well, and that had a lot to do with the placements of the ponds initially. And part of it was definitely the actual contours of the dimension originally too. I had to make it make sense.
Yeah.
Well, before we go further, I do want to apologize in case the camera starts getting kind of wonky while I'm doing this. I still don't have, my chair, a desk, or anything like that until the 27th is the date that they're giving me, so I apologize if things get crazy. I know it got a little crazy for a second a couple minutes ago.
It's looking fine, Fiendish, no worries.
One of the things I've always wanted to do, and I got to do it in this dimension, was have a path and or stairs go underneath the waterfall.
Oh yeah, that's a gorgeous view there too.
I kind of just want to jump off this cliff.
You can. Just don't jump off the bottom one. There's no way back up.
Yeah. No, we'll take the stairs. I like this spot right here. You can almost imagine that you can feel the spray coming off the waterfall.
Yeah, this little patio at the very bottom turned out to be my favorite.
You made really good use of all the different elevations in here. I know that has been my biggest complaint about Scarlet Gorge is the amount of flat space is pretty minimal.
Well, that was one of the reasons I closed the doors on all the houses, because I just couldn't get them to sit where you wouldn't see ground coming up in the center. And I thought, well, this dimension isn't about indoors anyway, so.
It's perfect as is. I'm a real fan of big landscapes.
Me too. I think this name is perfect for this dimension.
Thank you.
Yes, the name of it is Valley of Eden.
I don't follow instructions well, so of course I jump to the bottom.
Good job, Diva.
So I get to have a nice walk from the top again.
Yeah, the only way out of there is with that jump master or whatever that thing's called. You can get back up that way.
I do like the pathing in this little village as well. It really helps to clarify things.
Yeah, I started trying to do it just using the fern fillers and I don't know what gave me the idea, but I thought, oh, how about stone walls this time? And they were actually a lot of fun to work with.
They really look native, how you've done your landscaping and everything. And I love the scaffolding.
Oh, they're awesome for stairways, especially if you're going for, more of a rustic look.
Yes.
That's a good descriptive
Yeah,
word
just
for them.
oh
Rustic.
yeah, and the mossy rocks with the mossy houses and then the stone walls, they all really blended well.
Yes. The stone walls help tie it all together.
The mossy rocks were really the only ones that had the right color to match in with the existing rocks in Scarlet Gorge.
Yeah, these rust-colored rocks are pretty hard to. Well, there's only really one right now. I know there's another one that you can fish up with the Stand Secret lure, but that's not really reliable.
And trust me, the rocks I used to border the ponds, they've been rotated in every possible way, so they didn't all look the same.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, it's really well done. I really love the combination of landscaping items that you've used here, because you have some of the ones that are, lighted and have some sparkles and such, and you even have the some of these fairy dwellings, but they just work here so well.
Well, I basically use the same rules I use in my real life landscaping as far as, planting and feature plants versus fillers and all that kind of stuff. So,
Well, it looks great, and we love your new dimension.
Beautiful.
Yep, and since we're going to try to look at a
Thank you.
lot in a short amount of time, we're going to go to the next one now, which is Kish and Zill's Summer House. And this is another newer one also.
well, it was newer open, but it's actually been on the go for a while.
I love
There's,
Shoreward Island.
oh, it's a great dimension. There's a kind of a little interesting story behind how this one came about. I have a friend who's on and off doing dimensions, and I can't remember the original reason he asked me to come in, but he wanted help with a swimming pool he was doing. I don't know if it was ideas or he wanted me to use like dimension tools to help line things up. And I kind of just I went a little overboard and redesigned his whole pool to a certain degree, lining up all the things. And then I said to him, I really like the final pool. I need to take it and put it in one of my dimensions. And so it literally became the first thing in this dimension because I really loved his idea of using an existing water surface so you could actually swim in the pool. And
Mm-hmm.
then basically everything, him and I were going back and forth between dimensions and throwing ideas at each other and putting our own twists on. And that's how it originally, and it was going to be a dream house, and then it became a summer house. So,
I love getting to see your Scarlet Gorge Valley of Eden that we just went to, which the base dimension is all dry, and you've totally turned it into a lush, tropical place filled with waterfalls and such. And now we're getting to see this one, which starts out with a, wet dimension, so to speak, and you've made it gorgeous and beautiful too. So I mean, it really demonstrates what a great transformational artist you are.
well, this dimension, one of the best things about it is the views, and I find it
Oh
funny
yes.
because I think I build on the opposite side of where most people build,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I love seeing that.
Well, partly it was because from the deck here, and again, I was planning this out as a summer retreat. You can see both Sanctum and Meridian if you stand in the right, probably on the upper deck,
Yep.
Yes.
which I'm not sure you can see from the other side of the. Okay, so there are a few things in this one I want to give credit to the people that this barbecue here is off the Dimension Addicts website. I modified it to fit, but that's where I got it. And actually, in the kitchen, there's a couple items um, that are from your dimension, Diva. I put my own little spin on them or change. I like to build them up from the ground, and then I don't feel like I'm totally copying. But and then this tiki bar, the base of it is something that I saw. Like it was the same dimension that the I was helping my friend with the pool. He kind of did the base. I changed it around a bit, and then added the roof. But I wanted this,
Looks
as we started
great.
progressing on this dimension, I wanted to have everything you could possibly want in the perfect summer resort.
Well,
And you
tiki
got
bar.
it.
A tiki bar would probably rank pretty high up on my list.
Yeah, there's the tiki bar, the pool, the sauna, the hot tub. There's guest rooms if people are staying for a weekend. There's a guest house on the other side of the island if somebody wants to stay longer. You know, the kitchen has all the amenities. The bathroom is, well, almost too fancy for my taste, but I like it anyway. You know, the fire pit out around the pool, just, you know. Oh, and then if you don't want to swim in the pool, there's the stairs that go down to the ocean, and then there's an entire underwater sunken boat if you want to snorkel. And so I tried to fit everything in that, you know, if you wanted to stay somewhere for a couple of months, you wouldn't get bored.
So basically, it's Nirvana.
Well, my Nirvana anyway.
Hey, that's all that matters. I'm down in the pool right now.
People
I was just
people
swimming.
in chat are commenting on it. They love this house. They think this dimension is beautiful.
Oh, cool. Well, they're welcome to come and stay anytime they want. And the two kitties upstairs in the bedroom are actually the same color as the two cats I have in real life, Panda and Molly.
Oh, that's fun.
And that was another thing I wanted to try and do. I'd never seen a round bed in a dimension yet. Now I probably just haven't seen it. I'm sure they're out there, but that was one thing I wanted in our master bedroom. And this fireplace, I think there's a version of it in one of your dimensions too, Diva. But I've seen it a couple different times, the basic design. So I just kind of tried to put my own twist on it.
It's not mine. I don't have anything at all like it. It's beautiful.
Oh, maybe it's in yours, Fiendish.
I had one like it, but not anymore. I think Valzen still has one like it.
I love
Yeah, I know
all
I
your
saw it.
wall art.
Yeah, I had a lot of walls to fill up. I didn't want them to be bare. And my wife, Kishwa, that's why it says Kish and Zills. She did some of the wall art and she did some of the decorating upstairs in the bedrooms. She's not a huge dimension person. She gets frustrated trying to maneuver things around, but she's definitely my inspiration, and she comes in all the time because I say, "Oh, check this out. What do you think?" And she has great ideas, but she leaves the actual construction up to me for the most part.
Hey, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, we make a good team that way.
It's fun that you guys get to game together. That's awesome.
Well, honestly, like I live in Ontario at the moment, and she lives in Nebraska. I'm working on getting my green card, so definitely being able to Skype and play Rift together helps with the whole long distance thing.
Oh, yeah.
I notice the kitties like to float. a lot.
Love this closet that you made here.
Yeah, I saw similar things in other dimensions, and I just kind of played around with the elements. And uh, definitely, I haven't done a lot of interiors, so I did a lot of touring and seeing what I liked, and then tried to make my own spin on them.
Yep, touring is one of the best ways to get ideas.
For sure, and there's some awesome dimensions out there.
This is just such a gorgeous place. Yeah, you're right about these views up here too.
Oh yeah, I've always liked wrapped around porches in real life, so I had to make some here. And then I made the conscious decision that there's no bugs here and no rain,
Yeah.
so we don't need doors anywhere, just curtains where you want privacy.
Yeah, do you think there's a little element of how we all get to play God when we're building
Oh,
dimensions that
definitely.
we like?
And I really like having stories behind the reasons why I build things a certain way. And not just, I mean, in this particular one, there wasn't a whole lot of story other than we wanted to make the perfect getaway place. Um,
That's one of the reasons why it's so much fun to tour with the builder, because you get to know those stories, and sometimes they just make, the tour that much more meaningful. And of course, that's one of the things we love about doing the road show is when we get to hear the backstory.
well, in this one, I definitely wanted to have a guest house, but I was afraid I was going to run out of item count. But as it turned out, in fact, even right up to last night, I made some changes in here. Uh, the friend that I had the swimming pool thing with, he had come in here because he'd actually been gone for about 4 or 5 months, and he come back and he said, "Did you ever finish that house?" And I said, "Oh yeah, come check it out." And he pointed out that the guest house, they had no privacy at their bed, so I added the curtain thing around it just last night.
And in case anybody doesn't know, there's a secret treasure room hidden in this dimension someplace. And I know there are a lot of explorers who like hunting for things like that.
Well, it must be
Oh
hidden.
yes, and the only hint I'm giving is that it's not in a tower, which is the most logical place for it to be. I absolutely love these mausoleums because you can turn them over and make such great patios with them.
Yep.
Or, as in this case, you can also make an outhouse with them.
Well, I went looking for the hidden area, the hidden treasure room, and I never found it. But that's not really saying much because I don't ever find anything.
Well, I can show you later. But as long as Diva puts my vase back that she stole out of it, then we'll be good. I'll tell you, the Summerfest came along at the perfect time when I was building this. I was just finishing it up, and those new umbrellas and the little cocktails and the picnic basket, they were all just perfect for in here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The umbrellas will save a ton of item count off of morphing your own.
One thing I want to say for this dimension, sometimes some of the craziest reasons like this raised bed in here was simply because I couldn't completely hide stuff that was sticking up through the floor in this building. And sometimes things like that are what cause your imagination to go, okay, how can I hide this? And then it ends up being, you know, accidental, but at the same time, it breeds good ideas.
I think that's so true. I hear that from people, so many people, and then it happens to me too. Something I had to cover up or whatever ended up being one of my favorite parts. It's so fun.
Yeah, because this is normally I guess what's it called, storage building or something, but I thought it looked like a cabana to fit in with the theme, and then this little hump of a hill sticking out over the water here was where it had to be. Well, it didn't have to, but I decided it had to be. So then I had to come up with a way to hide the you got to have the building level or it just looks wrong. So
You have these wonderful buildings to go to, but you have all these little, like this little place on the beach here, too, little special little places to find.
yeah, I like doing the just little nooks and crannies, and I mean I kind of do the same thing in my real life landscaping when I'm designing for people's houses, and you kind of look around and say, okay, where are all the little spots that you want to have their own little special place, and
Yeah.
then you just work from there. Ultimately, I moved the entry point on this one just because I wanted to make it look like you literally had just stepped off the boat coming here. So.
And it does. That's such a fun way to enter this dimension. I like it.
Oh, I think Fiendish went for a swim.
Yeah, I'm snorkeling right now.
I find it funny that they brought out a snorkel as a wardrobe thing now too. So and swimming suits. My wife and I often come here and then throw on our swimming suits and splash around in the pool just for kicks.
Hey, that sounds like fun.
Well, I think now that with this over, I'm gonna officially try to have a guild party in here. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds cool. So people in chat are just enjoying their tour so much. One person is talking about clever ideas here, and Calorie says she wants to retire here.
Awesome. Well, certainly, any ideas they say in here, go ahead and use them, because that's one thing I like about the Dimension community. It's people take the ideas and then put their own spin on it or use it in a different way, and I look at that as being a compliment. I know there's been a few in here that I took from other dimensions, and I try not to copy, directly, but sometimes an idea you see is just the best way to do it.
I think we all get inspired from touring other people's dimensions.
Yep, and imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes.
I'm glad you can't see me right now.
With a limited number of items, there is a limited number of combinations. So eventually you're going to copy people even if it's completely unintentional.
Oh, yeah.
Surprise, Fiendish found her excuse to get naked.
I'm swimming.
Oh,
And I'm not naked. I have a bathing suit on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time on the underwater part, but I wanted it to look kind of cool, and because I am finding, even when I've brought people in to show them, that most Dimensioneers want to tour every nook and cranny, so then you kind of want to make sure there's something going on there.
Well, I like
One
how
thing
you
I
turn
didn't.
these lily pads into lights out here. It's so pretty.
I was actually just going to comment on them, because one thing I've done in this dimension is I didn't put a time of day thing in here, because this dimension changes a lot as the day progresses, and it's cool to come in here at different times of the day, and I didn't want to lock it into any one, because those lights, that was another thing that I can claim was my idea, is the lights that surround the pool, taking those Dronheim lights and turning them upside down, and they really, when it turns night in here, they really come out really cool.
Yeah, they look really nifty. That's a creative use of those. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, they went nice with those pillars.
Posts. Yeah, they look great with that.
Yeah, they're a beautiful light, no matter which way you use them.
Yes, they are.
All, all the tile work around the pool is so good. I love this pattern that you've got here.
Yeah, I can't remember. One of the dimensioneers that came in here suggested I repeat the pattern on the bottom of the pool, which was a heck of an idea, and I
Yeah,
took it.
yeah, it works really great.
I absolutely love these round pools of wine, but I don't think I've ever used them as pools of anything. They make awesome round stairs if you stack
Yes.
them up.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. And I love how you have an access panel to, makes me think of some sort of like filter clean out
Yep, and I had to put the one on the
machine
bottom
or
too.
Yeah, there's a drain down
that's
there.
so cool.
Actually, one of the most fun things I built was the ladder, because at first I'm like, how on earth can you build a ladder? And then it turned out that using the door frames partly hidden worked.
Yeah, that works great.
I really enjoyed building the hot tub because I didn't realize till it was finished how much steam comes off those waterfall base, and that just totally made it look like the water was hot.
It really does.
And then the jets on the side in here are a nice detail.
Yeah, and this control panel is awesome.
And then after I built that, I had to have a sauna too, and I think it was the whatever the bottom is in there, from the
That's a wine barrel.
Satar set.
Yep.
Yeah, the wine barrel. Um, I basically built everything around that because it just looked very woody and kind of
Yeah,
sauna like.
it looks great.
And then I was great. Now I got to build a round sauna. How do I do that?
And this one is very unlike most of your other dimensions, which I know we were talking about before we started the stream, because you don't usually do houses. I think this is
I hadn't yet.
the
No.
only house I've ever seen from you.
So far, I've been a little bit scared to work. I don't. I haven't done a lot of interiors per se yet. So. Well, except for me, is the next one Ice Age?
Yes, the next one is Ice Age. And we're getting ready to head that way now.
Cool.
Now, this one definitely has a story. And it's so funny because if I had known and I had waited a month or so, I could have entered it in the post-apocalyptics contest, but I had just finished it when that contest came out, so. But so this one is basically, I wanted to do a post-apocalyptic because my wife and I both love like apocalyptic movies, and I thought, well, I don't want to do the after nuclear war thing because that's the most commonly done one, or the desert, or this or that. So then I thought, well, what if the world was taken over by an ice age and everybody had to move underground? And about that time, I discovered from looking at somebody else's dim the fact that you can use the elevators and towers to go outside the normal boundaries of the dimension. And this is a couple of guys over here that didn't quite make it to safety. And
Yeah.
so that gave me the idea that, okay, we moved underground to escape the ice age. And by being able to use the tower to puncture underground and build everything down there, that kind of is what led to the whole concept of this. So I tried to create what I thought would be everything some people would need to be able to survive underground. So yeah, the glaciers and again, the new items coming out, the glaciers and all that, I kind of put them to use over at the side, but this was the minor part. This was just the setting. And I've got these bones sticking out of the glaciers and stuff.
And this is one that, Kestrel's is only 1,200 items, and your dimension just, when we get down underground and everything, it's apparent. It looks like way more items. I mean, you've just
Yeah, it does.
got so much detail.
Oh, I'm already
It's
down
really
here.
awesome.
Well, I do find a lot of its placement. You got it. I mean, I really don't plan ahead per se, but I do get a rough idea, and there are all kinds of tricks, as I'm sure you two know, that to making the best use of the space. Or and this was definitely one where I was surprised when I was done building the caverns down there that I had used as little item count as I had, but by sizing rocks to their biggest and bending them certain ways. And I mean, even this thing, trying to hide the top of this tower and make it look like it was part of the mountain, was tricky, but that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, I'm already in the
I
underground.
lost Fiendish. Oh. So yeah, basically the idea was this was one of a series of complexes that we built to survive the Ice Age, and and it has hopefully every, like, well, she's already gone past, I guess, but there's a medical bay in here and a common room. Um, so like this area in here was, and storage. It's not very full storage, but yeah, this was supposed to be sort of the medical section if anybody that lives in this complex got hurt, and that this is like a futuristic operating table. The room at the side with the corpses, I'm not quite sure what that is, but I don't know if it's because it is supposed to be like the future, so it's high tech, but they had to, almost go back to low tech solutions for survival.
You could say
And
it's
then
a
down
cryogenic
underneath.
lab.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And then this is sort of the common room, where people can come and interact with each other, even though they do all have their individual apartments further along. My guild leader, Star Lily, she actually did, because she was so excited about this dimension, and she did the furnishings on the 3 apartments, and she did a lot of this, like the food area. Like I created the structures, but she did all the food, and she was just excited about it, and I thought, sure, go for it. Again, I hadn't really done a lot of interiors yet, so. And when you see the apartments, she tried to go for an organic, like everything they built down here was designed to either help with air quality or help with feeding, or it was very well planned out, hopefully.
Yeah, I love how you thought of all those systems and, like, your power generator and all of that. It's so cool in this dimension.
That was actually the most fun of this thing, is trying to, well, how would we do it.
I think the biggest thing about living underground would be the time without light.
Yeah, and that's why the apartments, even though I obviously did use buildings, the thought was, okay, even though there is no window, they still put windows on the walls just to give you a feeling that you're still above ground. I had so much fun designing this watering system up here, trying to get. I couldn't get the water to stay with the moving back and forth of the telescope or whatever that thing was. So then I built that sort of tubular thing as if it's supplying water, and then the water's being spread out, and because I had to work that thing in. It was so cool looking, almost steampunky, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
And that one little unit there is supposed to be almost like a little composter that, sucks some of the fertilizer up into the watering system. And my
Yeah.
wife loves tomatoes, so I had to design a tomato plant.
So, Zillaan Affleck, who is Calories, they collaborate on a lot of dimensions, and
Yep.
she is saying to tell you that you totally need to enter the post-apocalyptic contest because we need more awesomeness.
Well, I'm working on a dim for that one.
Cool.
I had already entered it on the thing. And these over here, my guild leader Star Lily affectionately calls the spider butt melons.
People are really enjoying the tour of this. They love all your clever ideas about all the systems down here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, over on the one side. Yeah, there's a water, basically where the water comes from, an underground stream in the one room, and then there's a power generator up to the other side. They're all kind of in their own little caves. I'm not sure which ones Phoenix has been down into yet.
I just went down this one here on the right.
Yeah, that's the sort of like the power generator. I'm not sure what source it is, but and then there's a room the opposite side of this where it's basically an underground river waterfall that's come in, and they've hooked into it and put a pump in it to pump up to all those watering systems for the farm. I guess I'll lead you down to the living area then.
I love that you've added some of the sleeping residents in here.
Yeah, I stuck him at the very end.
Yeah, great spot for one of them.
So at the end of this first corridor here is I tried to design a futuristic tram system because the thought is it doesn't make sense. You probably wouldn't be able to survive if it was just a single complex on its own. And so that was just to, and I kind of put invisible tiles in so you couldn't go too far in, which is another way of saving item count, so you can just build part of a room that people can't see by. And so this was to try and make it look like it's, there's several complex that's linked together by some kind of a tram system, and they can trade from one complex to the other what they need. And then of course I put a church in here so that for the religious people that are in the complex, they have a place to worship. It was really cool trying to put buildings underground, but it is another way of using item count. And then making the rocks kind of, again though, the windows are purely there for looks to make the people feel like they're not below ground.
Yeah, I imagine the claustrophobia.
And again, I want to say thanks to, yeah. And then again, by having closed doors, you get the impression that there's more rooms beyond, and they have little doorbells on each door. And but again, I want to thank Star Lily for the awesome interior decorations she did. She's pretty much did all of it herself in here, and I really loved her style and this whole idea that she come up with, where like they literally have trees in their rooms they can pick food from and also help with oxygen, and yeah, she did an awesome job.
And if you were living down here underground with rocks all around you, having some of these plants down here would just be a wonderful break from that. I love how she included all these plants that are useful and beautiful. Really a cool idea.
Yeah, she did, and she come up with that all on her own. I think she really got what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And then again at the end of the hall here, I made a corner and put an invisible block, so you just get the illusion that it must go on and on and on, and there could be hundreds of apartments down here. it was interesting. Once the free camera came out, I was able to kind of, you can go through the walls and to look at this construction kind of from the outside of it is really kind of funny. Um, there's all these things sticking out and in the backs of the buildings, and it is kind of cool that even though we're technically not supposed to be down here in this null space, that we still can build in here, and it unlike some dimensions that won't let you even go slightly outside the boundaries, and yet this one I could build the entire dimension technically below the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is one thing the older dimensions allow and the newer ones don't. So if we want to take advantage of that bug or glitch or whatever you want to call it, we'll always keep using the older dimensions.
Oh yeah, and trust me, I did fall a few times when I was putting the floors in.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I just love the watering system in here. All of the connected, the transporting the water, how you're doing that, and then the watering system up above.
Well, this is a great concept, and I love this. I love this dimension.
So fun. This one is just
Thanks.
wonderful. Are we on to a next one, Fiendish?
Yep, we're off to LV 426.
Oh boy.
Well, that was my contest entry. I can't remember the exact name of the contest, but it had to do with doing a movie scene or a book scene or some kind of scene.
Setting the scene.
Setting the scene, that's correct. And so the last room in this one is actually the contest entry. The rest I built just because I wanted, well, to have a lead in, and if you're going to do a dimension, do a whole dimension. And so I actually sat there and watched this particular scene from Aliens over and over and over again, just to try and I was jotting down notes and drawing a diagram to did she walk and turn right and then turn left and went down a stairway, just to try and get it close to being accurate,
Oh wow,
and get the
that's
feel
cool.
of it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure if I exactly did it. And then I had all the little side stairs, but I put invisible tiles so people can't walk where they're not supposed to. And again, it keeps item count down if you can kind of go around a corner and there's really nothing there, but you can't see that from where the your vantage point is. And then I got her flares where I don't know if I got them in the exact right spot, but as you know, Ripley dropped flares as she was working her way into. This is the scene where she goes and meets the Queen for the first time and has to rescue Newt.
And your queen is just badass.
Yes.
Yeah, she was fun. She was fun to make. Basically, she was the whole dimension, and before I officially entered, I played around a bit to see if I thought I could make her and make her the way I wanted to. And once I knew the pustules would work for the egg sac, then I was pretty much on the go. And I knew all these like death spikes and things looked just like it was just a matter of orient them in the walls and stuff so you could still walk properly. And
They do. They work perfectly as all this alien stuff.
And then, of course, some of the dragon motes look just like the eggs from Alien, so that
They
kind
sure
of allowed.
do.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, here we go.
Wow.
I think what got me so excited about this is that I was able to merge. I wasn't sure how to, like in the movie, there's like these straps or some kind of goo that holds her suspended from the ceiling, and the fact that the stalks, if you turn um, the one stalk pustule upside down, kind of look like those things, and the fact that her whole egg case just like pulses and moves, and I mean it just and the fact that, and I didn't know it immediately, but the fact that those pustules drip just, and you know, in the movie everywhere they walked there was stuff dripping from the walls, and it just worked out really well.
It's super gross and perfect. I just love it.
And then those statues, combining them to make the legs, kind of worked out really well. And I had a lot of issues trying to get her head looking right, and I didn't know what to use for teeth until I played with the sheep's rib cage, and then finally I thought, well, just for the effect, because in the movie when you see her, there's all this light behind her, so I just put all those God's rays kind of behind her to give that effect, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun because the contest kind of made me do something that I thought was cool. And I didn't really care whether I won or not. And I must say, the ones that did win, like their entries were just outstanding. Um, uh, it was a really fun dimension to build.
Well, that's the important part right there. I mean,
Oh, I don't enter to win. I enter just because the contest kind of gives you a focus and gives you a theme to work with. And
yes.
sometimes, if it's not your idea, it really challenges you.
I love this body position that you have Ripley in over here where she's kind of being protective of Newt. It's just perfect.
Yeah, that was my first ever person morph. I'm not really thrilled with it, but I mean, there it is limited what you can do to make people in here, and obviously the one that did win, like her people, they were the main focus of the scene, and so she used like all kinds of item count to make them look really good. Now I've learned a lot, and in the apocalyptic one, I have people, and they're definitely better constructed than poor old Ripley here. But I did like making the flamethrower. That was fun.
Very cool. I love this. We need more alien dimensions and we need a predator dimension.
Predator versus Alien.
Oh, I never thought of Predator. Um, well,
My two favorite aliens.
in the apocalyptic one, we're doing 100 years after aliens came down to basically destroy, like take all our resources and steal everything. And so I have designed an alien that I need for that, which will be kind of fun. The dimension
Cool.
I chose kind of decided for me what the aliens were going to look like, and because there were items already in the dimension that I built the aliens around, because I can't move them. So it should be interesting to see how they turn out.
Indeed. Well, good luck on your
It's a nice
contest entry.
detail. Yes, yes. This is a nice detail how you show her actually laying an egg.
Well, it was part of the scene too. Like when she first walks in, they showed an egg coming out. So I
Yep.
thought, well, I got to include that. So where are we off to now?
Now we are off to Riverboat Carnival.
Oh yeah. I can blame this dimension on dim tools. When I first got dimension tools, I was messing with it to see what it could do, and I was messing with the thing that allows you to like rotate objects and use multiple objects in a circle. And I was playing with the pirate staircases, and I made that one of those things that makes the paddle boat on the boat. And my first thought was that looks like a water wheel, and then I thought it looks like a paddle boat, like the paddle on the back of an old time paddle boat. And basically, because of that, this whole dimension was created.
It's amazing what it takes to inspire a whole dimension.
Exactly. And I actually built the entire boat in another dimension. Um, and then I was able to use dim tools to break it down and copy it into this dimension once I decided this was the dimension I wanted to be in, and then everything around it became uh, um, well, I decided, okay, it's going to be a carnival. Oh, and uh, the fortune teller at the end there, I pay her to tell all the guests that they feel lucky.
Well, that's good.
I must say, Star Lily again, this Slurpee machine, she had done the original one in our guild dim, and then I kind of redesigned it to be freestanding because she kind of had it at the wall and didn't have a back. And then I added a few things like cup holders and napkin holders, but I got to give her credit for the original idea. And then I decided, well, we got to have a hot dog cart to go with the Slurpee machine, and then we have to have a pizza oven because the people got to eat while they're doing all these carnival games. So.
And pay through the nose for it.
Oh yes.
Hey Diva, I need you to come stand on this thing over here, alright? I want to try to whack it.
Uh-huh.
So it was fun deciding, which carnival games to do and try to make them look like somebody's just been playing them. The knives are stuck in the board and there's a broken balloon on the floor and stuff like that. And I don't know what gave me the idea for the fortune teller. She just kind of developed out of I think, again, Dimension Tools allowed me to create this really cool design with the banners on the front.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Yep.
I love that.
And I'm kind of proud of my bar on the back end of the boat. Again, the seat I did see in another dimension, and I recreated it. But the actual bar, I kind of had fun. I wanted to go with kind of a modern-y look. Nico says he likes it anyway.
Nico's not picky.
No, he seems to show up everywhere.
Yeah, he gets around.
The only thing I kind of wish with the NPCs in Dimensions is that you could turn off their titles. Because what if you want them to be something else?
Yeah.
And you don't really have that option if it says bartender. But I mean, it's just cool to have anything populating because these can be awful empty, sort of lonely dimensions when there's nobody in them.
Yes. This is a lovely bar.
Pretty sure I saw the stools or something similar in another dimension, but
Well, these flower stands are really popular to make stools and benches and chairs from anyways. They're a pretty common and handy and cheap item. But pretty much everything is cheap now thanks to Minions.
yes, that really helped.
It does. You'll never hear me complain about Minions. You might hear me complain about
Although
not being
because
able
of
to
them, I
stack
have
these.
5 storage dims. So Kishwa, my wife, she did the interiors of the staterooms on the second floor. And I thought she did a nice job.
Yeah, these are nice. I really like the layout of your riverboat.
I do too.
Well, I must admit, Dimension Tools is what the ability to line up 5 posts in a row by just setting the distance between them and stuff like that. And that's Ken. It was when it first came, when I first got it, I was exploring it, and that's kind of what allowed me to build it so quickly. And
Yeah, they're a huge time saver. Now, have you started messing around any with the updated version that Lynx 3D has been working on and posting on the
no,
forums?
I haven't had a chance. This time of year, normally, work is really busy for me,
Oh
so
yeah.
I just, I think I'll let other people do and then I'll take it when it's done.
Well, I'm gonna start working on it as well because I haven't had time with the move and everything. But now that I finally have a place to live and stuff, I can get on it because I like using add-ons too, and I definitely want one that works.
Well,
Me too.
especially for placing walls and things like that,
Yeah,
it's the best way to do it.
yeah,
I keep trying to find some time to do some testing, but I haven't yet.
yeah.
So there's two little areas I want to show you in here. One I put in at the request of my guild leader, and it's over kind of where we zoned in. She said, "What are the teenagers going to be doing while their parents are over here spending money?" Um, so
You're gonna be getting high and making out.
basic. So somewhere out here is some skinny dippers anyway. So
Nice. I like
she
this
thought it was,
bikini top.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun to kind of. It's nice when you can bury things in the ground and get them to morph the way you want. And then at the other end of the dim is basically just a little retreat for, well, me, the owner of this riverboat. Sometimes you just got to get away from all the noise. Well, I guess I should show you this was stuff for the kiddies too. So there's like a horseshoe pits over here, and then there's this bear. Is kind of like you can ride the bear. Somebody said he was fearsome, and I said I thought he looked pathetic, the poor guy, just walking in a circle all day. But and then just over the hill, there's like a little beach and sand castles and a teeter-totter and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, Diva.
And then in the corners, the little hammock and just sort of a little get away from all the noise spot.
Fiendish, I'll ride the teeter-totter with you when boglings fly.
What the? That's not nice.
I was really happy with how the um, what are you standing on?
The pirate net, rectangular net.
Hammock,
Oh,
how it
that,
turned
yeah.
out. Sorry, I was just having a brain injury there or something.
Yeah, this is great.
I should actually put that one on Dimension Addicts. I think I've got it saved in the Dimension Tools. So there is room. I'm still waiting and waiting and waiting. I need one more artifact to get my half-wits. I still need the liver.
Hey, sit
And I was
here.
going to put it in here somewhere.
Yeah, that item would fit in nicely here.
But there's a part of me that once I open them, I figure, well, move on, go to the next. There's no point in going back and changing because nobody's going to come see it. So, um, but um, this one I might add the half-wit since it's a plan right from the start.
I really love this pizza oven and the pizza and the hot dog stand
Yeah, that was fun to build.
and the slushy machine. I think I'm hungry.
Yeah, I could put them on Dimension Addicts too, because I've got them all saved as sets.
Okay, and even though we're already run over just a little bit, there's one last one we want to try to squeeze in, and that's just because um, I like seeing what people do with things like Tower Meadow, Baralt's Ascent, Sanguine Shores, One Point, all the little 400 item dimensions. So we're going to take a quick hop over into Kishawa's Retreat.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted to see what I could do with a small dimension. And also I was feeling particularly missing my wife that day, and so it was one weekend I basically did this, and just this was my first just see what I could do with all the plants and stuff, and it is a really cool. Again, it has the slopes, so you can do all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh.
The little heart on the thing was actually her idea because I had a few item count left, and she says, "Is there any way you could do that?" And I said, "Well, I think maybe there is."
That's sweet. I like that.
And this bridge
Well, when
is
we
a
first
great
met each
idea.
other, yeah, I love this little bridge. It was fun. Yeah, when we were first playing WoW, that's where my wife and I met. We had the same character. Well, no, she didn't have Kishwa. She made her later after we met in person. Like I say, it's a place in Illinois that named Kishwa. It's a campground that we met physically for the first time, and so she made a character named that, and so now it's always been Zillaan and Kishwa are doing everything together, regardless of what game we play.
Well, that's good. That's a very sweet and romantic story. And I hope things work out where you can get your green card.
Yep, it's just a matter of time. I've
Yeah.
spent the last 2 winters down in Nebraska with her, and it's been good. I mean, thankfully for Skype and Rift, we have something to do together.
But I
This is
love,
all
love, love
beautiful.
this waterfall.
Yeah, it's gorgeous up top.
Well, when I made Valley of Eden, definitely I had applied everything I learned when I was constructing this, so it went a lot quicker. I do love the rocks, like the rocks that Tryon have created. I mean, people think, oh, rocks are rocks, but I'm glad we have so much variety, and there's so many different ones because it's nice having like 8 or 9 or 10 different rocks with the same texture, so that that literally with the different ways you can rotate it creates like maybe 100 different rocks, and
Yeah,
to
that's
make it to
that's
make
right.
it look, yeah, and you don't want to put a whole bunch in a row that are all oriented the same way, or it looks artificial. And
Yeah, and even rotating them doesn't always make them different enough, so to have some different options is so wonderful.
yep. So I'm all for it I know some of the new fishing. There's some new rocks and stuff coming out of the fishing lure, but there's some
Yep.
pretty elaborate ones, and they look really sharp.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and then
And you were
of course, next week with 3.3, there'll be all kinds of the aquatic rocks. So if you want pink and blue and purple and everything else, you're going to definitely be able to get that. And um, I haven't been to PTS in a couple days, but last time I was there, these things were like 30 and 45 gold on the store. So
Nice.
yeah, even if
See, I
minions
like
don't
using
bring
them
them.
as I have one of the dimensions I'm working on right now was supposed to be like uh, an underwater world that dried up and the plants all adapted, and so I was using all those. And so I've got a spaceship in that dimension where the scientists came down and they're exploring all these weird alien plants that have adapted from a water world that dried up, and because I didn't really have anywhere I could use all these neat corals and stuff in an underwater setting, so I thought, well, okay, they look like alien plants to me.
Yep.
But I started that dim a long time ago. It's funny how you work on one for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and then suddenly you don't touch it for a couple of months.
Zillaan, you're really so good at placing things in consideration of how they're going to look from every other spot. This is another one, kind of like the Scarlet Gorge place, where you can look up and see a lot, but I can look down like I'm looking down on a bridge. And I love the bridge, but this is a different perspective, but equally beautiful.
Well, I do a lot of running around when I'm building them, checking it from all angles to see. Of course, I do the same thing in real life when I'm planting trees. I'm always checking them out from every angle to make sure they look the best. So I guess
Yeah.
it's a carryover.
Well, it really makes for some beautiful dimensions.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Yep. And we want to thank you for coming on for taking the time to come on with us this weekend, especially because we've run over as usual.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been a blast. Anytime.
And
So
thank
much
you.
fun today.
Thank you, especially for talking so much about your dimensions and what inspired them and how they came about. We really appreciate that.
Well, and I want to thank you guys for putting all the time into having not only this cool roadshow, but just the extremely helpful websites that well, you and Novi and is it Katasha that runs
Yep. Kitasia runs
the
the
Dimension
Yep.
Addicts? Dimension Addicts,
Yep.
yeah. All those are resources I use constantly.
Well, good. We're glad to hear
That's
it.
cool.
I know if it's any way helpful, then that makes it worth it.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Oh, definitely.
All right. So next weekend we'll be on my home shard of Greybrier with Shower, who is someone that does a lot of commission work, a lot of collaborative work. So we're definitely looking forward to that one. And then we're also, man, 3.3 on Wednesday. I'm pretty darn excited about that.
That's exciting.
Sky projectors, plants, notoriety stuff. Finally, it was worth it to grind all that rep.
There must have been what, 60, 70 items on that list he posted?
Woo!
Yeah, and I think it expanded. If you factor in the sky projectors and the loyalty items, then that list definitely expanded. And
Well,
don't
and arches and benches and
yeah,
statues.
yep, and don't forget that the Atragarian vendor is at the Atragarian Well, not in Margot Palace.
Talk about Christmas in July.
Oh my God, yes. All right, so we will see everybody next weekend. Thank you for tuning in today.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, weekend, week.
Bye.
Bye bye.